Hello, everyone. It's Birdie here, the recycled hippie chick. Hey, it's Sunday, and I was just sitting down getting ready to nestle in for a long day of, I don't know what you call them for my art journals. What do you call tags and tabs and belly bands and all that? Do you call it ephemera? I don't know what you call them. But anyway, um, not too long ago I had an art sale in Wichita at the Riverside Park, and I made 10 junk journals. I think I told you guys about this. And man, I used up all my whatever this is, ephemera or gadgets or whatever, doodahs for those. So I thought I better start stocking up. So I had taken some things in last night. I made some tags and little word affirmations or whatever you want to call them, and I took them into the house last night to sew little cloth tabs on the end. And when I brought them out and threw them on a stack, I thought, well, shoot, I ought to just tape me doing these final little touches to them and gab for a little bit before I nestle in with getting caught up with Days of Our Lives and making the rest of this stuff. What I did was, let me tell you a story. I have two stories, so let me write down Ricky Tikki Tavi. I'll just put Ricky because she's one of my stories. My granddaughter's 8, and she does her little art journaling when she spends the night with me. And she made this tag, and I just thought it was adorable how she blended in her little colors and stuff, and her color choices and all that I thought were adorable. So I was talking to my friend Terrell, who came over to play with me one day, and she said, "Good grief, girl, you should get these grandchildren, together and let them help you do your en masse tags and stuff." And I thought, you know what? You're right. I love the way Paisley did that. So next time she came over, I asked her, would she just paint me a bunch of tags and put a stamp on them. And of course, 8 years old, she made it far enough to paint the tags, and then she got bored and went on to something else. But I went ahead and stamped them, and then I turned them over and I put just a journaling area on the back of them. So that's what I did yesterday. I went through everything Paisley did and stamped and got them ready to be tags. Here's one she put her own little spin on. I just put a journaling spot on the back. And then I took them in the house, and while my husband and I were watching TV, I put the little tassels on them. So that's what I did last night. This one here is just I learned how to do that. Is it called cloth paper? Where they take collage paper and then collage it on cloth, and then you have this left over. I painted over it, and this is the cloth on the back. And I made a couple journal covers out of it, and these were the offcuts. So I thought, what the heck? I'll poke a hole in them and call them journal tags, right? So I did that, and then last night, this is everything I did last night watching TV. Normally, I would run a belly band like this, or what do you call it, a snippet strip, through the sewing machine, but I just sat and hand sewed it while I was watching TV. So I got me a belly band. And then the rest of Paisley's little tags that she made for me, I finished up. She made me quite a few. Even though she did get bored quickly, I did get quite a few little tags out of it. So then, so I have two more questions before I get to my Ricky Tikki Tavi story. What do you do? Well, that one's not a good example. What do you do when, that's cloth paper. Where's the one I wanted to show you? Here it is. Okay, so when you're making naked junk journals, and I like to put tags and stuff in them. If you were going to buy a naked junk journal, would you want a naked tag that's not finished? Or would you want some that are finished? That's where I'm kind of confused with the naked aspect of it. Should I be finishing this up, or should I just be sticking them in there naked so they can finish them? That's where I don't know what people would like. Also, to me, this is not finished. Nothing is finished to me unless it's been inked around or Stabilo'd around. So my brain says this needs to be finished, but my heart says it needs to be finished, but my brain says you're putting it in a naked journal. Let them finish it if they wish. So that's my question to you guys. Do I stick it in there, or do I go ahead and, get my OCD out of the way and finish it? That's one question. Then I come with this brilliant idea. This comes on a long strip. This is the tab of a cereal box. Actually, this is either the end that folds down or the long strip that I just cut, because they notch two ends of it, a long strip and then another notched end, so that you can fold it in. I just cut these off and I Mod Podged them and put a little cloth on the back, and I'm going to put them on and sew them on my page like a tab on the side of a page. Won't that be a great idea? So anyway, instant tabs. So I made a bunch of those. Now, I go to Instagram and I watch Rikki Tikki Tavi, and I don't know if that's how her code name is meant to be said, but I see a code name on Instagram, and whatever hits my mind at first, it's like they're tagged with that name the rest of their life for me. To me, she's Rikki Tikki Tavi. There's another one that I don't remember what her real name is, but to me, she's Nincompoop, because when you first look at her code word name, it looks like Nincompoop without trying to figure out what it's actually saying. So she's just Nincompoop to me. So anyway, I was looking at, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start doing what I needed to do while I tell you my story on this. Some of these, when I sewed them on, they kind of hang down, so I was going to kind of glue it to my card so it'll be a little stiffer. But Rikki Tikki Tavi showed these little affirmation cards that she had made out of a little strip of I don't know what, and she had glued a little snippet clip at the top. That's plenty of glue. She had sewed a little snippet clip at the top and then glued some typed affirmation on it. I thought, oh my gosh, I love that idea. So I usually screenshot those and then I try them in my art room, feeling very guilty that I'm stealing their idea. But this morning when I carried these out, I thought, Amy, Birdie, you don't have to feel guilty about stealing Rikki's idea, because when you look at Rikki's and then see how my version of it came out, you wouldn't even know that I got the idea from her. Because when you take someone else's idea as inspiration and try it yourself, your personality comes through and you don't realize it, but you do it completely different. So it's just inspiration. You just come up with the idea. I mean, you let them help you with the idea, but yours turns out looking completely different. So get out there, try other people's ideas. Listen, if they didn't want you to try them or didn't feel free to share them with you, they wouldn't put them on their page. They would keep them to themselves, and they wouldn't share if they didn't want you to join in and try it. So get out there and try stuff. See, here's another one. That should have Stabilo around the words and inked around the edges. But I'm just going to leave it because I'm putting them in naked journals. So, but yeah, I've had that screenshot, and then every once in a while I sit down and say, man, I need inspiration. So I'll go through my screenshots of stuff that I have seen on Instagram or whatever, and then, you know, then I'll try one that day and then delete it from my screenshots so that I can say I did. See, I did copy some of her little sayings I really liked, so I'm putting them on mine. I'm sure she won't mind. And just take my little tab, put my little word of positivity on there, and bam, I have a little tab to stick somewhere in a little art journal. I just thought they were cute. So I just typed up a bunch of them and decided I would sit and glue those on. I probably should have glued them on last night, but I didn't take my little words in with me, so they only got the little tabs sewn on the top. And that's my 2 stories I wanted to tell you. Ta-da! And I don't know, I'm left-handed, so to me this is the way they should be glued on, so I'm not sure if that's a right-handed way to look at it or a left-handed way. That would be left-handed probably. I probably did put it on right-handed. So that's good. Good deal. So look at this one. I got to show you. I was typing, "No one is you, and that is your superpower." And then I got to the next one, and I accidentally typed a "now." So I'm like, oh crap, I've screwed that one up. No. Then I just put, "Now, one more day." Bada bing. I turned it into something when it was an accident. Serendipity. No, it may not make sense to anybody, but it's cute little words and it's going on a tag. And to the person that this is meant to go for, it may mean something. You never know. Never know. This one I just loved with this little, I had one little strip of a dingle ball. You know how they have a bunch of dingle balls hanging on them, and it just had one lonely dingle ball, so I may keep that one for myself. It's just so cute. I'm going to put "I'm blessed and loved," because that way if I use it for myself, that'll speak to me. Because I am blessed and I am loved. God loves me. Hate to tell you, people, but I think I'm one of his favorites. I think I'm favored. There we go. I have to set that one aside because that one may end up being mine. Isn't that hard when you make stuff and you get attached to it, and then it's hard for you to... This one here got a semicolon, or colon, I don't know, it's a semi. So I don't know if that's legal or not, but it accidentally got thrown on there, so it's staying. I went camping this weekend. About half a mile to a mile from my house, we have a little city lake out here in the country. And I went camping with some friends out there, and it ended up raining on our second night. So we just loaded up. Sasha's husband works for the electric company with power outages, so you know, they're trained to just watch for that stuff. So they were watching, had their scanner going and was watching the weather, and I was in my camper that evening at supper time and watching Gilmore Girls and enjoying the view of the lake and just loving it. And she knocked on the door and said, "Guess what? We have some bad weather headed our way, so let's load up and go to your house until it passes, and then Jeremy and I will go home." I said, okay. So I unplugged everything and we headed to my house, and uh, got a call the next morning from Sasha, and she said the guy at the park has called me and said our campers are right at the water. It's flooding, so we need to go out and get them. It was 6 in the morning. So we got up, and my husband helped me load up my camper and drag it home. And it was, I put a picture on my Facebook, any of you that are on my Facebook, that water was right, well, it was past my door. I would have woke up to a cruise if I would have stayed. So I was supposed to come home today, and that got cut a little short. Where's my other tabs? I thought I'd go ahead and put words on my tabs. Huh? Okay, I had a handful of these tabs when I showed you, didn't I? Now where are they? There's a couple more over here. Where are all of these? Isn't that crazy? I cannot believe that. Well, they've disappeared. Disappeared into thin air. So, I came home yesterday, and man, I am just shot. I didn't do a thing while camping. I just sat and relaxed. But I am just shot. Whatever's wrong with me, the Lyme or whatever it is, just knocks me down. I did walk out last night finally and did some weed eating, and my body's so sore today, which is so crazy for me because, you know, I've been a gardener for 15 years. I don't wake up after just weed eating with my body completely sore. It just doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense, but whatever. Until you actually have a diagnosis, you just wonder. That's all you can do. You just wonder. Nothing you can do if you do get a diagnosis, because there's not a lot they can do to help you that I want to do. I'm not going to take medication, steroids and stuff. Okay, I'm going to push pause and go let the dog in. She's noticed I'm not in the house. Okay. So, but just having a diagnosis, I feel like, would set my mind at ease. Just knowing what it is and that I'm not crazy. I go see a back surgeon for my back. I don't think I have to look at my paperwork. I'm not sure I heard them correctly when they called me to make the appointment, but I could have swore they said February 2nd. Oh my gosh. I gotta wait till February to see a doctor. But they said my MRI was not 2 years, was too old, so I had to go get another one before my appointment. So I went and did that, and I don't know if I've told you. I think I might have told you guys I went and had a sonogram on my thyroid to see if maybe that was an issue I was having, because my doctor did tests and it came back both hypo and hyperthyroidism, which I know nothing about. So she wanted to do a sonogram of my thyroid, so that got done and it came back normal. There's my tags. So heck if I know what's going on. She wants to check the thyroid levels again in 6 months, and I met a lady, I talked to a lady at my camp out, and she said she has something called Hashimoto's, and she said make sure when they check me again that I request that they check my antibodies, not just my level for my thyroid, but my antibodies. So I am going to mention that. She said they didn't catch hers until they finally checked the antibodies. So I'll check that. I'm just checking all this stuff before I go pay $1,000 out of pocket for the Lyme because insurance pays, you know, for all these other tests where I don't know for what reason, but they will not pay for anything to do with Lyme. So I'm just drawing at strings before I go. $1,000 to a poor girl is a lot of money. Matter of fact, I'm having to sell my Volkswagen bus to even pay for it. My dream ride. So I'm having a hard time accepting that, but I will. I'll sell it and use some of that money to go get tested if I have to. But I'm letting insurance do all they will first. Okay, now let's see how many minutes I've been yakking. If we need to go on or not. 20 minutes. Let's call this one, and then I'll do another video doing our little DAR 63 inspired journal, okay? So, see you in a bit. Bye-bye from Birdie.